The design of this chapter is pretty trippy, and we have to really piece together what is going on. So before I get into trying to piece together everything in that, let's talk about the beginning, let's talk about the end, because the middle right now, that's a lot of things I need to talk Furies about. So, the beginning part of this episode, our cast of characters enter the Soul World. They finally enter it, and what we found out was that their body disconnects, the body hits the ground, and their body needs to be protected. We slightly already know about this, but we get to see an example of this in this chapter, where Komatsu's body and everybody else's needs to be protected because food spirits could try to possess them. So we see what's going on the regular world. Now, moving on into the spirit world, as soon as they enter, you have it to where Komatsu and the group, they meet this dude, and he's like, I am the judge, and when he tells them their objective of how they have to cook food, to continuously cook food to proceed, and one thing leads to another to where Komatsu goes into like a trippy type ordeal. But before that happens, though, we come to find out that it is confirmed now that King Moon, when he eats stuff, that the stuff in his stomach travels to the back channel, or the Soul World. So we finally got clarification where the food goes in King Moon. It comes here, and it's more like a dumping ground for everything that King Moon eats. You have it to where we get to see Komatsu make his declaration like, okay, I will cook, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna make sure I can, get out of here, and we can cook another, and I can get back to Toriko. And also you have it to where, Komatsu is able to overcome his trippy ordeal because of Toriko, which I know many might say some things in the comments. I can already see many in the comments saying, like, wow, Komatsu's just like, Toriko-san! Toriko-san! I can already see it. I can already see so many saying that. But I'm gonna just move past that. So, at the end, though, we see another pop-up for the final page, and we see 3, actually, to be exact. If you look closely, you'll see 3. You'll see 2 in the background, you'll see 1 in the middle, and 1 looks bigger, and the 2 look smaller. So, we don't really have any clarification if another that we see at the end of this chapter is the actual real another, or is it like a bunch of children, or is it like 2 children in another? We have really no idea. There's no real idea to clarify yet until we get confirmation in next week's chapter, but I just wanted to mention that. So now let's get into the main stuff that's going to be where everybody's going to be discussing, like the Fury crafting stuff. So, with the loopy, trippy panels going on, I gotta talk about once again how this chapter foreshadows space travel. I think everybody saw that. It was just a really wonderful panel. Probably one of the best panels of this chapter. When you saw that space, now Komatsu's just floating in space, and you just see like Jupiter in the background, Saturn, you just see all these sorts of different planets. It looks so cool. And I gotta hand it to Shima for this chapter for doing that type of work with that art style. And for one, we see Neo. We actually get to see Neo in the Soul World. Well, now we don't get to really see his face, but we get to see like this weird skin texture that we see from Neo that looks kind of like a tumor or something. And we see it inside of the Soul World. Komatsu gets a quick look at it, and then we skid over to something else. So, we have something right there, questions with Neo. We also have it to where we see, like, a conversation with Kaka and Komatsu. And then we have it to where we see a bunch of gourmet demons sitting down and eating. Which, that is something I want to talk about real quick, because I noticed it, and I hope I am not the only one to notice this. But at the dinner table, if you look closely, when you saw those 3 demons, the 2 of those demons are Toriko's demons. They look exactly like them. And then, if you look closer, you see the other person sitting down that has, like, wings. We didn't get to see his face. His face was completely covered in the chapter. And I'm looking at this demon like, okay, so you have it where Toriko's 2 demons, the blue and red demon, they're talking to this creature, this other demon. Now, this demon looks white, and it has, like, wings, like an angel or something. Very symbolic, I think. It might be symbolic to imply that it looks more like an angel instead of a demon. But the thing that we really want to look at is like, there's many ways you could take this. For one, you can assume that this is maybe an old friend of Toriko's gourmet demons. Maybe it's someone that they knew in the past, and they're like, oh, let's talk, have fun. That could be a possibility. And then there's another possibility, since I've seen talks about this before. I've actually seen a couple of Chibits mention this in the comments, so I want to bring it up now since we saw this in chapter, because as soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember a Chibit commenting that, and I'm like, holy shit, so maybe the Chibit was actually going something with that theory. So, from what a Chibit said was, it might be possible that Toriko could have, like, a 3rd demon. I saw it in the past many weeks ago, and when I heard that, I'm like, we'll have to see. And then I see this, and I'm like, holy shit, wow. So, I just gotta say, for the Chibits that actually said that maybe Toriko had a third demon, I gotta compliment you right now, because, holy shit. That's crazy. It just really adds a lot of mystery. But for now, though, moving on, the chapter, it was a good chapter, but it was a slow chapter. And it's not really that bad of a chapter, because I felt like this chapter was what Toriko hasn't had for a while. A slow chapter that really just lets you get immersed in the chapter. For instance, the world. What we saw, like, you know, that space panel, it allows you just to immerse into what we are visually seeing in the chapter. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.